Good day and welcome to a new video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe! Welcome in today. Today you're joined by me, Daniel, and welcome to my channel, whether you're joining me on Twitch or you are joining me on YouTube. These videos that I do, they are streamed on Twitch and then exported to YouTube, usually the same day or the next morning or something like that. It depends. This one is during the day, so it'll just be a couple of hours in the future. They'll be on YouTube, so if you're watching it on Twitch. And I do these streams once a week. I usually have artists in. Sometimes I'm just chatting about a topic. And sometimes I'm just chatting about my process and what I've been drawing and painting. Last week I think I did a topic, but the last few weeks before that, I've been talking about just doing these 9-minute art challenges, what they're like, and the whole process of them, and what each challenge has kind of given me. For this challenge here was, a bit challenging. It's something I'm kind of not used to painting a scene like this. It's something that's very um, very dark and ominous, if that's how you say it. And yeah, it's murky things and very dark and not what I'm used to. I have drawn nighttime scenes, but nothing to kind of this extent. With that fogginess, and so there's quite a few elements that I don't usually paint. So it was interesting to try and attempt it. Um, yeah, and definitely like out of my comfort zone, but it's kind of good. So you kind of learn something from it. It is kind of it is different. But yeah. And this I'm going to talk about a topic with you guys. I'm going to be talking about um uh, creating a creating support for your art, or creating support to develop your art, something along those lines. I think creating support for your art, basically. Creating the support you need for your art. Really, that's what I call it in the end. But yeah, I had a few names with that. Um, Getting the support you need for your art. And so, creating the support that you need for your art. You know, um, Getting the support you need for your art, yeah, that could have worked too. But then, I could have kind of put that in any context in a way. So that's why I kind of went for that rather than like getting the support, because you could go to certain places, and also some people might be lacking the support they need for their art and things like that. But for me, I've been kind of lucky to have the support I've gotten over the years for my art. Um, a lot of artists don't exactly get all the support in the world. Um, some of their parents don't want them to grow up to be artists, or they starving artists or anything like that. Um, and some people see it as, yeah, unrealistic. Um, just because it's they don't see that. They see the starving artists, they see the people kind of struggling. They don't see, they're not commonly you see um, a lot of people around them that are in the industry, in the art industry. So therefore it's kind of mystery job. It's like what they do, they just sit and draw and create pictures. It's not real work, like that, some people do see it as that, unfortunately. Um, and also the you're doing it while not getting paid for it as well, that kind of thing. Um, it can be kind of not the greatest in the world. But yeah, for me, my I'd say my mother supported me more than my dad to begin with. You know, to begin with, I think it took him more convincing than it did my mum. My mum was like always very, very supportive. Um, but yeah, a lot of people, um, some people you do have to kind of do that for, is kind of convince them, I guess, that they should support you. And the same goes for, say you're a YouTuber or an artist that wants, Patreon support, or any other kind of support, financial or whatever. You really do sometimes have to show people you're worth supporting, as an artist, as a creator, what you have to offer. And doing that is kind of important to help you grow as an artist. Um, Creating the support you need to um, grow as an artist, it is a hard battle, and not I don't know if this topic has been talked about in a lot of other YouTube videos. Maybe a little bit on this channel. I don't 100% know. Um, I think I have seen, videos based, on this kind of topic per se, and some kind of things, some interviews and things about, them growing up and either their parents being supportive or not supportive with their art. I've heard some stories about, um, say, the likes of, I think it was. Was an interview with Bobby Chill. I'm not sure if it was Bobby Chill, but they're talking about how he was drawing in his like sketchbook, but he was like slammed for doing that, and um, all these things that were going on. So, some people can be supportive. Um, you know, for me growing up, definitely, like I was saying before, um, we had some support in there in the family. I had an auntie that was an artist, kind of a thing, that sold some paintings here and there on the internet. So she kind of was the family artist in a way. And, had some people we know, but not definitely none in the kind of industry per se. Had another kind of family member that was kind of good at, really good at doing that, and did some shows and things like that. Um, and also, teachers, back in the day, probably uh, 12, 13, what we call here in New Zealand, we call intermediate. So we have primary school, and in primary school, start there, we just kind of play around with art. I built these like rocket ship things out of toilet paper rolls, um, from a show that that I saw on TV called Art Attack, and that was a really interesting show. Back then, I think it was the early 2000s, like 2000, 2006, somewhere between there, between 2000 2006, somewhere around there, I think, where yeah, Art Attack used to be on like Disney Channel and things like that, and it used to feature this guy who did lots of interesting art and stuff you can create at home. Also, he did like these big salt art things where he got heaps and heaps of salt and made really cool art pieces with the salt at places. Must have been interesting to clean up, um, but yeah, we had that on TV, and Disney Channel had a little bit of art stuff, and also, uh, how they made things, how they made, dinosaurs, how they made um, Jurassic Park and those kind of movies. Those were running every now and again on different channels, which was interesting to see. But yeah, the younger days, I had all those kind of influences, all that support with other people. I wasn't like, I guess, wanting to be an artist. I wasn't even that good at that stage. There was a lot of other people, a lot of other kids that could draw better than me. And I could just draw basically Spyro the Dragon. Um, and I used to draw a bit, and we had a little bit of support with a little bit of art in our classes and things like that. And then, from intermediate, that's when I picked up like all the how to draw books. There weren't too from, at primary school, everyone kind of drawed, and there were like some good people and, some not too shabby drawers in the classes, and then you stepped into kind of the intermediate. That's the way I see it. I'm not sure if that happens with like everyone out there, as you grow up, less and less people draw. As far as I know, as you grow up, it's a less of a habit thing. You love drawing as a kid. A lot of kids do. They enjoy the drawing and they just drop it at some point. For me, no, I was that kind of weirdish kid that was drawing at the back, drawing my own kind of things and characters and fun little cartoons and um, me and my mates were like making games and things out of drawing. I was picking up how to draw books. I was, from the libraries. We did have art classes back then. Just kind of. I think it was once a week for the first few like 5 months. I think it was at the intermediate. And then, the next year, same thing. We had art again. You kind of got to pick the topics you wanted if you wanted to do art. I think I picked art. You got to pick out of certain subjects. Like there were subjects you had to do, and then there were subjects that you could pick, like music, art, and um, some other things. I think maybe at intermediate it wasn't that we picked it, but there were certain like all classes and where certain things we would get involved in, like woodwork making and that kind of thing. So that's outside support from intermediate. Then high school, there was all that picking and choosing, so you can kind of pick where you want to go and what you want to do, whether you want to do music, art, or So from there, we I picked, you know, I think in my first year I picked art, and because it's something I enjoyed, and I'd rather do that than um, some of the other subjects. Like I think I might have picked music the first year. I'm not too sure. But yeah, pick some things here and there. We had to pick a language, so I picked French. But, and then the year after that, year 10, I didn't know what I was doing, what I like really what I wanted to be and things like that. So I didn't get involved into that, but I'm pretty sure I did like graphic art of that year, but I didn't do art. It was one of the two. I was like, oh, don't know about art. It seems too hard and all that stuff, and not for me. So I kind of skipped um like that year. But then at that year, I kind of got really interested in watching Family Guy and those animated TV shows, and a lot of those. I saw a lot of those YouTube channels with things on. I had a lot of friends in my school that were interested in that kind of thing and like animation and wanted to help create things and things like that. So I got really interested and really pumped from the support network of friends that I had out there, and some of the teachers that I had there, where they would encourage me to look at animation and what kind of things I want to do with that, and that got me involved. Be like, oh yeah, I'm enrolling in art and graphic design and all that stuff. So a little bit of a push from all those sources. But if I didn't have all those sources, I think that I might have struggled a little bit further of what I actually wanted to push forward in. I'd learn a bit of Blender because I thought I'd get into 3D a little bit more. I thought that was where it was headed, um, and things like that. But yeah, from there I went into I think one more year at school. Year 10, 11, 12. And year 12 I think was op yeah, I think year 13 for us is optional. Year Yeah, it might be year 12 that's optional as well. But yeah, the year 13 I it didn't do. Year 12 and then year 13 I was at course. I went to School of Design. And pushing for that I was really bad at English. I did get some support for English, and I've have had support for English writing and the language and everything since I was a kid, really. Um, I had trouble speaking to begin with the way I guess how I said my sentences and everything, and just communicating. I didn't really communicate that well when I was young. Um, and then from there, I had like these fun activity classes that I went to, so that skipped me out on some, learning to write. So that's why my handwriting is quite bad because, I skipped out on quite a lot of learning of handwriting when I was younger. Um, that kind of thing, which is funny, I'm kind of bad at handwriting and I still kind of am, but, with drawing, I'm not too bad. So that's kind of funny with that. But, I had that support for my English, um, and pushed me towards, going to schools and courses and stuff. So at school, I got pushed towards doing school, and I really was looking forward to it. It was amazing when I got there. Um, having the support network there at my courses, it's great to have that, to have people around you wanting the same kind of thing. They all wanted to create and design things. They like drawing. Some of them are better than others, and some don't like drawing, but they have to for the course. For me, I really loved it. That was the favorite part. Others, it was the designing part. Some others, it was the looking into and research part of the whole projects. That everyone had their different parts they liked about that course at school. That I went to the School of Design in Palmerston North. I went to, but we all supported each other. The teachers were amazing. They definitely for me, I would give them a design or a drawing, and when the teachers would throw back at me every time and be like, oh, you haven't finished it yet. I would be like, oh, this is finished, and then show them, and they'll be like, no, it's not finished. Like this. And it would just be, the kind of support I would need to grow at that stage in my early kind of learning, and it was what I needed. Someone to definitely um kind of direct me that I actually wasn't finished. There's more I could do to it. And it gets harder as you go on because when you start going on your own, and also when you get further along in kind of if you're doing the course kind of routine or you're doing um, the online learning thingy, there's as you grow older, usually there's less kind of support usually. You know, they're leaving you alone. You're figuring things out for yourself a lot more as you go, kind of thing. Because things are getting a little bit more harder. It's not now, draw this line. It's now, um, you know, draw this line at a three-quarter angle, with only, um, one stroke. It's a little bit more complicated now, so there's less people out there that can show you really. It starts to broaden out. There's so much help, but um, there's still a lot of people out there. There's YouTubers, there's Schoolism's a good one. There's Gumroad. There's all sorts of these ones you can do that do have that support you're looking for. Um, you know, yeah. There's a lot out there that do have that support you're looking for to grow, and you might need to go to different places at times because you get higher and higher, and gets harder and harder to kind of teach you new things. So going to new artists that you watch on YouTube out there and seeing their art, breaking down their art and seeing their techniques does help you grow. Um, but having a network of people um to grow as an artist is vitally important. If you don't have kind of a network there of artists, um, there, it's like fighting up a giant hill by yourself. With if you climb the hill yourself, it's going to be much more dangerous. You might have less experience. You might, um, it's life-threatening if you go up a giant hill. But in the art world, or you know, I guess the achievement world or whatever you want to call it, that big mountain. Um, it is, scary, big, a lot going on. Where having someone with you or having other people around you to go up that big mountain, like me for going with that course, having a lot of other people doing the same kind of thing or having the same kind of struggles, it does help tenfold. Having that support network, even if they're not artists, having definitely people around me, um, like my partner per se, or family members during my art, just encouraging me and giving me also some advice for some of the things. Sometimes I've had some good critiques from my partner, even though she's not, um, you know, and a great artist. You know, she's done a few art pieces, but um, definitely not to my level. I'd say that much. But just few critiques from her and other people in my life. Friends and families having their critiques. I would show my mum some of the things I do and ask her, what would you think about it? What do you think about what you like about it? What you don't like about it, because sometimes she was my target market, the people I want to see the image and what I want to speak to basically, at the time. So having her as well there to help me and give some helpful tips and advice was is really helpful too. Um, and not being, so I guess um be like, oh, that's absolute crap, but not being um so being like, oh, that's amazing, that is the the greatest thing I've seen, and having that kind of harsher support from those kind of people is really kind of good, because if people are just like thumbs upping your work and just saying, "Oh, yeah, that's awesome," um, that kind of doesn't get you very far, because they're just saying, "Oh, it looks awesome." And then what does that say? That piece of work you created, obviously it's the best work you've ever done. But in theory, usually there's things to improve. So, if people say, "Oh, your hands look off," don't get offended. That's one important thing, because they're trying to help you. They're trying to make you grow, um, and improve the skills that you do have. And if they notice if one person notices that, everyone's gonna notice it anyway. So, if you notice it, that was the good advice I've heard of, is that if you notice it, everyone else is going to as well. So, um, however, sometimes we don't notice things. Yeah, and that's the way it is. Sometimes we just don't notice something. If it might look a bit off, you're not sure why it looks off. Sometimes you do need someone else to look at it. And that's what's helpful about having support out there to help you grow as an artist. Having someone to show that can um, tell you what's wrong with it can be very, very helpful. Some Obviously, some people just kind of point you in the right direction sometimes. It'd be like they might not know the answer themselves, but even having someone just to point you in the right direction, um, being like, your hands look wrong or something, and then they're like, look at how this person draws hands, that's pointing you in the right direction. They don't know the answers themselves, but they're still supporting you and helping you and putting you in the right direction. And in the end, that's kind of what you need, whether regardless of if they're a great artist. I mean, it's awesome if you have mates out there that can just draw over your paintings and drawings, fix them up, and show you, and hopefully that will teach you a lot more. But even having someone out there that can just, you know, point you in the right direction sometimes can be very, very helpful. And also, you've got to accept it, you know, um, accept the advice, and accept uh, the direction they're trying to send you in, accepting that is important. Without accepting it, you're just going to deny it, say, no, I can draw hands, what are you talking about? And then you'll never get, better at drawing anything, because, you're stuck in your ways and all that kind of thing. Um, you'll always just draw the hands that way. So, just listening to their advice and the way they do it, you can process it in your own way. That's fine. If you need to say, "Oh, that's not for me," that's okay. I'll be fine or whatever. That's fine. Just um, but listen to their advice. One of my teachers back in the day did. They were saying, Uh, well, it was from I think it was from something, an event I went to actually, um, where he was saying that you should kind of sift through the critiques and things that you do get, because people might say that's right, but sometimes they might not exactly be right. So like someone could be like, oh, you know that's wrong because this perspective's wrong. But in fact, the perspective might be right, but that still means that something's up, something's wrong. It may not be your perspective like they say, it may not be your hands like they say, but something off. It might be, they may say their hands are wrong, but in fact it's actually the rest of the arm that's wrong. They may not be 100% accurate with what's wrong with it, but exactly the point you're in the right direction. And that's what's good. To have a support network, someone that understands you and the way you work as well is highly important. Not too important, but highly important. But creating a network of people, creating people that support you, having people around you that support you. It's great to have this YouTube channel, and it's been a hell of a challenge, keeping it up and keeping it going. Um, you know, I've had support over the years from my partner, my friends, and that kind of thing, supporting me doing this channel. Um, yeah, keeping me going. It's been amazing, and also, people that watch this channel and um, yeah, thanks you guys for watching, and subscribing and liking. It's great to have you all kind of cheer me on in a way, and it's a support network of people. Is not always gonna be there. That's why I call it creating. Creating your support to improve your art, because it's not always going to be there. The support for your art or you as an artist is not just going to be given to you. You've got to find it, whether it's sometimes, you've got to go searching for it. One time, at course, I was really, we had to find a client. Um, and they had a few clients on their list. They had a few people on their list that they've got through the school, that they have kind of got in their radar, that want designs and logos and all that kind of thing. Some of them obviously weren't going to pay and things like that. It depends who it was and those kind of things. Um, but they weren't exactly, kind of on my radar. They were kind of, logo design and poster and um, that kind of thing. But they wanted you to find a job basically to do. Someone actually did an intern as that job, I think, and others did a few interesting roles that they did, logo designs and poster designs and things like that. Um, and I was challenged because I was like, I wanted to draw something. I wanted to create an illustration for someone. I didn't want to do a design or logo or poster. I could have done that okay, but I wouldn't have done it, excellent or higher than good, basically, better than good. So I wanted to do, something within that field that I wanted to do, and that was really, really challenging. Um, I had to ask, you know, libraries if they knew anyone, then like bookshops. Eventually, I found a bookshop that had a bunch of publishers and things that they knew and were possibly looking. And eventually, I managed to find someone that was looking for an illustrator um, for an upcoming book that they were going to be publishing. And she usually buys rights to images and things like that. So it was going to cost her about the same for getting me to do an illustration. So she thought, well, why not get me to do an illustration? Um, so that's what I did, and that was amazing to do. Um, and having also, my tutor helped me in organizing meeting her and putting that meeting together to try and get that sorted. That he helped me. Also, some of the other classmates and things helped me in, you know, really locking that position or illustration job down. Um, so that was a bit of a challenge, and all the paperwork that we need to do, that kind of thing, all sorted and everything. So we did that, you know, so having that little network there to get this underway was really awesome. It worked quite well, really well to get all that stuff done. But yeah, having that network of people around me was uh, really helpful. Having libraries that were going to help me and um, bookshops that were going to help me point me in the right direction. Um, it's amazing, and you have to go out and create that for yourself. No one's gonna come in and just watch your YouTube channel just randomly unless you do have some sort of pull to it, like a search terms or um, some way it gets hits. You have to go out, create the videos, and create interesting videos, share it with people and hopefully they share it with people they know, and you have to start creating it, create a network, um, create healthy relationships with friends, partners, wives, or whatnot, and family with your art. Because not having them healthy relationships affects your work. If um if you're pulling a leg or someone else's leg or something like that to do your art, it is very challenging. um no, not that I've experienced that much at all, but yeah, it is very, very challenging. So having that network, you have to create it. um yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say really, yeah. So keep creating no matter what. It is challenging sometimes when you do have parents that don't exactly want to support you doing that. They want you doing other things. Um, like maybe doctoring or or just a standard job. That was challenging for me trying to get a standard job. Um, I started out with like a quick shopping market, what they called a dairy, a little dairy. And I lasted about 2 weeks because it got on top of me. I was like wanted to do a lot of. I had soccer, I had art, and I just yeah, I couldn't take doing that at that stage. Um, Now I'm okay. I will work a full-time job, and that's another thing, financially supporting as well. Um, if you have people in your life that you might have a partner that's paying the bills, it's amazing to have that because then you can focus on your art while they're kind of supporting you by paying the bills and things. That's amazing. Support other people as well. For me, I'm supporting my family by going to work. But with that, I still get time to do my illustrations, and I get support for that time as well. they help in looking after that. I do get that time um, as much as they can. Obviously, I've got other things to do, like chores, but having that support that they um, understand that you're drawing and trying to support that. Um, you need that time to draw and things like that. It's always good to have, that you may be supporting that, or may not want to do that. You might want to stay at home and drawing. They support that. Um, yeah. So we're getting to the end of this 90-minute art challenge. This has been me painting for 90 minutes. I do speed it up twice as fast, or just over twice as fast this time. There's an hour and a half painting, and I twice as fast it to make it about 40-ish minutes. Um, and yeah, this, like I said, it was a challenging pace. I think the last 20 minutes, I wasn't sure what to fix or how to fix it, how to kind of add things in, and how to fix it without breaking it as well. You know, with what work I had already created, I don't want to break kind of the image too much, change the man too much, and then like the whole thing's off, um, that kind of thing. But yeah, it was interesting. So hopefully, you've come in, you've supported me on this channel by like, share, subscribing and everything like that. I really do appreciate it. It's awesome to have you guys come in, whether it's on Twitch or on YouTube. I really do appreciate it. Down below we do have a was a link to Twitch if you are interested in watching that. I do streams every Tuesday. This was one of my weekend streams. It'll be out on YouTube in a couple of hours. You guys probably watch this on YouTube maybe. But yeah, thanks for joining me. Let me know down in the comments of what your support is. If you have any stories about creating your networks, creating your support for your art and that kind of thing, let me know down below. Keep drawing, keep creating, and see you in the next video.